All right, guys, welcome back. We're going to shoot a follow-up show to that last 2023 crappie fishing show. We're still here. I just wanted to do a little breakdown, and we're going to try to do this on a lot of the shows this year. A lot of times people ask, you know, what size jig head were you throwing, or what color, or, you know, break it down a little bit. And I'm the world's worst about doing that because I just fish and take that stuff for granted. And so I'm going to break it down a little bit for you guys exactly what we were throwing. Now, I keep in my frog tub, this is the bag I use for crappie fishing, bluegill fishing. I love to bluegill fish also. And I keep this top, now all of my jig heads, everything, they're all in here. I have all different sizes and what have you. But I keep right here, real easy, right in that top, exactly what I'm throwing, you know, usually for the day. And 90% of the time, it's blue ice Strike King lightning shad with either a Strike King 16th, 8th, or 32nd ounce head. Most of the time it's 16th blue ice, either chartreuse, blue glimmer sometimes, chartreuse and blue glimmer or blue ice, and a lead head with blue ice. And that's what I keep right here. And I'll just kind of rig everything up for you. Today we're throwing 4 pound InvizX. Now I throw Tatsu a lot of times, but I'm actually out of my spool of Tatsu. I had a roll that I've been fishing with for years, and I ran out, and so I'm using InvizX, and I haven't found that it made any difference. You know, Tatsu is a double structure fluorocarbon, and I do think that makes a little difference, but I'm out, so I'm using InvizX, and InvizX is doing just fine. This is a 6. I throw bass fishing gear. A lot of these crappie, you know, 2 pounds. I go to lakes where I catch 2.5 pounders on an average, and you don't catch near as many of them, but 2 1/4 to 2 1/2, a lot of times that's just what is there. And you know, I want to throw, and I want to be able to set the hook way out there and have enough backbone to make a good hook set way out there. And wintertime crappie fishing is real finicky. I fish with a lot of people. I have a bracket here where it's a double seat, and a lot of times I want both of us watching the live scope. It's just a lot of fun. It's kind of like duck hunting. It's a social sport. But I see so many times guys sitting right beside me, and I'm watching their line. I can see they're getting a bite. So, man, check him. I think you might be getting a bite. He'll lean, and he's got one. It's just, you got to be able to set the hook. I even crank with a little stiffer crankbait rod, because I believe on those long casts, you got to get that treble hook in that fish's face way out there. And so I use a little bit stiffer rod, but this rod right here is one that I have been fishing with the last probably 4 years since the Pro TI came out. And it's a 6.6, it's a TL, PTI, Team Lose, PTI, 6.6 MLFS. And that's medium light, fast action. Now you don't want an extra fast action. That is more of something that you'd want for bass fishing. You want a moderate to just fast action on a medium light rod. You can see that little bitty, I mean, that tip is actually really good. It's real light for casting those 16th, even 32nd ounce jigs. It loads up just right, but it has a good, it's light. It's very light to the feel, but it has a really good backbone to it. So I like 6.6 medium light action bass rods. That's just what I've always been. I don't like the little flimsy ultralight stuff. I like the bass rod version. It just gives me a lot more control, gives me good distance, the 6.6 does. And I'm mostly open water fishing. I do most of my crappie fishing in the wintertime, really ultralight stuff. But it's open water stuff. Even when I'm around docks, I'm back off, I'm skipping underneath docks, I'm shooting docks or skipping underneath them. And you just get these deep, 15-foot fish down on the bottom, 20-foot. You just get a little bit better hook set with them. Heads, I throw, and again, right here is what I throw most of the time. Let's set it out here. I throw either a 16th ounce Mr. Crappie jig head. I'll throw an 1/8 if I'm fishing a little bit deeper or the fish are real aggressive or if it's real windy. And then I've got a 32nd in there also. And when I throw the 32nd is when the water temperature is in the low 40s, the fish are up high, and I just really need something to float through them real slow. They get a little bit more finicky when the colder it gets, and that's when I'll go to the 32nd ounce. And you can see this little blue ice is just the tooth marks on it, but that's the one. It's either a chartreuse head. I set that down right on that reel. It's either one of the two. It's either this one or this one. A chartreuse head, and I've got lime. I throw lime a whole lot also, but it's either the lime or chartreuse head, and I throw that with a blue glimmer skirt mostly. And this is just something that I have found. I mean, guys, I've crappie fished when crappie fishing wasn't cool. I've been doing this for a long, long time. And I have found all over the country that chartreuse head with the blue glimmer, Strike King lightning shad, or what I use probably 75% of the time is the lead head with the blue ice right here. I have just found all over the country that this is a real successful combination. Now, all I do, I'll just rig one up for you real quick. One thing that I see my buddies, and I make fun of them all the time, I see people do a lot is rig these things up wrong. They'll rig it to where they'll rig it upside down to where the belly's on top, or they'll rig it sideways. I really take my time, hold that thing back, put that hook right through the tip, and I want it in the middle, right in the middle. And I want to set back and look at it and hold it right and thread that thing where it's really straight. And you want the belly of the bait, the shad, the belly of it to be on the bottom, of course. And then you want the straight part to be on the back. Now, the only thing that I do different now, the guy that's fishing with me tied this, but this is how I tie and how we were fishing today. I tie a loop knot always when I'm crappie fishing. Get me a little bit more slack. And all I do is I run my line through. And I come back through just kind of like I'm tying a Palomar knot. So I got a piece of line in there so basically I'm doubling it just kind of like if I were to tie a Palomar knot, but instead of tying a knot right now in a Palomar, I'm going to take this and I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to get all that together, and I'm going to tie it. I'll run it through, tie a little overhand knot, and I'm going to run it back through one more time. And then I'm going to catch that loop on the eye, pull it, I've got all this together, pull it down to where it's almost down to the bottom, and then pop it over the eye, and that is a loop knot. It's a double loop knot. So normally when I'm throwing 6 and 8 or something like that, I'll just use the one, but on this one, now I don't have my scissors handy, so I'll just bite it. But that's a loop, and my knot it's doubled. There's 2 lines going through that eye. So That's the reason I throw this is because when you catch 2 or 3, I should have explained it when it was tied down on it, but if that knot was cinched down on there, say with a Palomar knot, and you're sticking your finger down the fish to get it unhooked, and that knot would get off to the side and it would get kicked, and or up here most of the time it'll be like this up at the top. Well, your line tie is way up top and it's pulling your bait up like this, and it's coming through the water column out of place. Whereas now this is hanging, but when water actually, the buoyancy of water hits that, it's coming through like that the whole time. And it's coming through. No matter how I place it, this knot can get all out of whack, and it's always going to be setting free. And the water is actually going to give it that buoyancy. So that is and it makes your bait look more real. And the more real that bait looks with rigging it and your knot and things like that, it's just going to help you get more bites, and you're just going to catch more fish than if you was trying to use it any other way. So 4-pound line always. And the 4-pound line really helps you a couple things. It's going to give you more distance on your cast with these light heads, and with live scoping, boat positioning is everything. So you always want to face the wind. You want to put your nose into the wind, and so you're casting a lot of times. Of course, it's a lot better when the wind's not blowing, but days when it's blowing, the fish still bite, and that may be the only chance you go. So face it the wind, and that 4-pound line is just going to cut the wind a lot better. You're going to get more distance, and it's going to cut your water column a little better. And because again, you're fishing open water, suspended fish. Sometimes they're a little deeper down, and that 4-pound line is going to help you cut it. So regarding reels, I use the Team Loose Custom Pro. This is the 1000 series. It's a TLC 1000. I'm really hoping we make that custom light in a 1000 series. I've been kind of waiting on that, but this is the best reel I feel like that we have had for a while. That's in that 1000 size. I like the 1000 size for bass fishing. It just for crappie fishing. It's just a perfect little size. The Team Loose Pro TI rod, 6'6", medium light, 4-pound line, 16th ounce head. And the only thing that I will do different than in addition to what I've talked about, is this Avid Angler glue is the best glue that I have ever found. It just really holds, and it holds whenever your jig skirt is even a little bit wet. But most of the time, I won't even let it get to that point. I'll just take it, and while I'm idling out or before I ever go, man, I'll just put really that's it right there. You don't want very much at all, because the more glue you use, the more white it gets all around there. But if you just take just barely, and then I like to even wipe that little bit of excess off. And that is just really going to help when you're catching a lot of crappie. It's just going to help your lightning shad to stay up on there just a little bit. And this stuff really helps in wet weather. You know, that's the best glue that I have ever found for when your skirt is wet. It'll still hold. The other stuff, the Loctite and all that, I used to use, and it doesn't hold whenever your bait is wet like that, and it gets a lot more white. So I just take some lightning. Now I do take baby Z2 and a little 1/8 ounce head, and I'll keep it over there for bass fishing in case I see bass. I actually thought one was a bass today, and it ended up being a big old crappie. I like the Garmin forward imaging. If you use the Lowrance Active Target, that is just perfectly fine. That's just the one that I like, the 34 transducer. That's an Eco Map, 12-inch. Yeah, this is a Sea Arc. RX 180. Absolutely love this boat for crappie fishing small lakes around. I'll take my big boat out on big bodies of water, but this one is just perfect for my lake behind my house. I fish a couple of little lakes over here, state lakes, and then I've actually found another little honey hole that I'm not talking about just yet because I've gotten a few trips in on it and going back. So, man, this is just what I love to do in the wintertime. I'll usually keep a little Mr. Buddy heater right here because it's very important in the wintertime to keep your hands nice and warm because that feel is everything. Put a little Mr. Buddy heater right here. That way when my hands do get cold, if it's windy, I can just hold my hand down just a minute, let it warm up real good, and I'm back at it. And you know, your guides will freeze up a lot that time of year, and that Mr. Buddy heater just helps the air temperature right around you to keep your guides and all that from freezing up as much. Be really careful in the wintertime. Dress appropriately. Have a life jacket. If you got a guy that's kind of not real agile, have a life jacket on him all the time because, man, these water temperatures in the low 40s you don't want to play around with them because you can get hurt real bad. But yeah, this is just what I love to do in the winter. This is my fun time in the winter. You haven't really heard from me a whole lot this fall and winter because this is what I love to do. I love to spend time with my family. I love what Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that mean. And now I'm ready. Now you're going to start seeing more content and us getting back in the swing of things. And so I hope you guys enjoy what we put out there for you. Hope you support it. I don't try to make any money off of this, but it does, you know, help things along. The more it makes you want to do more, the more people encourage you to do it and go on and like and support it. So God bless you guys. We're going to hopefully have a great time in 2024, bringing you some more content. If you need to know any more about this, reach out to me. You can, you know, all of my social media platforms are out there. Send me a message, send me an email. Go to my website. It's got all the stuff you can find out how to reach me, and I'll be glad to share any of this with you. And y'all be sure and go to Midway USA and support that business. And they're providing all the fishing gear now, and they support this show. So I couldn't do it without them. So check them out. God bless y'all, and look forward to spending some time with you in 2024.